Enjoy your time here and find peace in the stories we tell. If you liked the story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. During Mother's funeral, Father brought home an illegitimate daughter. The entire manor was draped in white mourning cloth, yet she alone wore garish makeup and a bright pink dress. Elder sister looked at her with sharp, threatening eyes, frightening her so much that she hid behind Father. Tears streaming down her face, appearing utterly pitiful. Seeing this, Father took her hand and said indulgently, "Don't be afraid, this is your elder sister. From now on, this will be your home. Wait a little longer, and I'll bring your mother here too." I stood nearby, watching this scene, secretly sneering at the two of them. How dare they put on such a show now? My elder sister is someone who has been reborn. My name is Yuna Shen, the second daughter of Duke Zhonong's manor. My father is Marcus Shen, who came from a declining aristocratic family. Thanks to his literary talent, he caught Princess Duanyang's eye at the Lantern Festival poetry gathering and became her consort. He was specially granted the title of Duke and has lived a comfortable, leisurely life for 20 years. My mother, Evelyn Lam, was originally Princess Duanyang's personal maid who came with her dowry. Because the princess cherished mother like a younger sister and couldn't bear to let her leave the manor, she elevated her to the position of concubine. Princess Duanyang was a strong and decisive woman, while mother was content and had no intention of competing for favor. Therefore, from top to bottom, the manor maintained proper hierarchy and lived harmoniously. The princess thought she had kept father under strict control, but even when she suddenly passed away from illness, she never knew that in truth, father had a childhood sweetheart before marriage, Ivy Zhang, whom he kept outside for over 10 years, and they even had a daughter together, only 1 month younger than my elder sister. Mother had barely passed away, before the mourning period was even over, and father hastily brought his illegitimate daughter Violet Shen into the manor. In the previous life, that pitiful, tearful Violet and elder sister Arya Shen, kind and simple-hearted, allowed her and that mistress mother into the manor. Who would have thought that Violet and her mother, though appearing weak on the outside, were actually sinister and vicious inside? They even dared to scheme and trap elder sister, causing her to lose her virtue to Violet's fiancé, Prince Trevor. In the end, she had no choice but to break her engagement with the crown prince and marry Trevor instead, while Violet usurped elder sister's position, taking her place to marry the crown prince and become crown princess. Later, Trevor rebelled and seized the throne, wanting to make Violet his empress. At that time, elder sister was 8 months pregnant, yet Trevor used her as a medicinal catalyst for Violet, cutting open her belly to take the unborn child, and she died filled with resentment. Not only that, to eliminate future troubles, Trevor mercilessly slaughtered her entire maternal family. My elder sister carried this deep hatred and was reborn. In this life, she is decisive and ruthless, vowing to make that pair of adulterous scoundrels pay the price. As for me, why do I know all this? It's because I've transmigrated. This is a rebirth revenge novel I once read. In the original plot's previous life, I was cannon fodder who was soon killed by that mother-daughter pair. But in this life, I'm still a supporting character, but one who eats melons and watches the drama unfold. This story is brought to you by the Review Stories Relaxation YouTube channel. Enjoy listening. At this moment, hearing the shameless words of that father-daughter pair, elder sister, who had been silent, suddenly swept her sleeves and stood up with an incredibly sharp presence. When she rose, a group of maids and servants also followed imposingly. I quickly followed as well. She looked coldly at Violet standing before her, her eyes filled with arrogance and contempt, and said, "What wild bastard child is this? Where did you come from? How dare you not know proper etiquette? My mother, Princess Duanyang, has just passed away. We're still in the mourning period, yet you dare to dress like this and appear in her memorial hall. Are you showing contempt for the imperial family's dignity?" Violet was scared until her eyes reddened, tears like pearls rolling down her cheeks. She clung even tighter to that scumbag father's arm, looking utterly pitiful. Elder sister, Violet didn't mean to. Violet just thought that since this was her first time returning to the manor, she should dress properly and not be disrespectful. But elder sister didn't wait for her to finish before stepping forward and delivering a resounding slap. "Wu is your elder sister. You're a wild breed from who knows where, yet you dare call me elder sister. Violet was slapped so hard she staggered. If that old scumbag father hadn't caught her, she would have fallen to the ground. Seeing his beloved daughter being hit, the old scoundrel's face turned red with rage as he roared, You're going too far. This is your younger sister. How can you hit her like this?" I watched with satisfaction. When I read the story, I hated that vicious supporting character Violet the most. Now seeing her get slapped, I felt immensely pleased. I walked over to support elder sister's hand and said gently, "Elder sister, calm down. Don't harm your health." The old father was so angry he trembled. "Yuna, even you." I quickly shrank back behind elder sister. My character setup is that of a timid, weak second daughter. I can't ruin this persona. But that doesn't stop me from stirring up trouble. Seeing this, elder sister indeed felt sorry for me. She patted my hand soothingly. "Yuna, don't be afraid. Elder sister is here." Then she turned to that scumbag father and said, "Father, have you forgotten? You are the prince consort. To take a concubine requires mother's consent and must go through the imperial clan court's procedures. She is merely a child from an outside affair, with no name or status. By what right can she enter this manor?" The old father was rebutted by elder sister until he couldn't speak, stammering, "You're going too far. I am your father. Your mother has passed away. It's not your turn to make decisions about affairs in this manner." Hearing this, elder sister coldly replied, "You are the one going too far. Mother has passed away. I am the legitimate eldest daughter. Naturally, I manage all matters large and small in this manor. My mother was Princess Duanyang, cousin of His Majesty. Do you dare let her depart without peace? Believe it or not, I will write a petition to His Majesty accusing you of moral corruption and contempt for the imperial family." After saying this, she didn't bother talking nonsense with them anymore and loudly ordered, "Someone, throw this wild bastard of unknown origins out. If the Duke doesn't wish to remain in the manor, throw him out as well." The old scumbag Duke had lived comfortably for over a decade, grown too arrogant. He always thought highly of himself, believing that it was mother who used her status as princess to force him all these years. Though he lived well and spent money like water, he was never happy. Now that mother was dead, yet his timid daughter wouldn't let him bring his Moonlight and illegitimate daughter into the manor. This was truly the height of unfilial rebellion. Thinking this, he was so aggrieved that he lay down at the door crying, "Arya, you unfilial daughter, you disregard moral principles. How dare you treat your father this way? Violet's mother and I have been childhood sweethearts since we were young. If your mother hadn't forced me to become prince consort, then Violet and her mother would be my legitimate wife and daughter. All these years, my heart has always felt guilty toward them. I worked so hard waiting for your mother to die so I could bring them home and make it up to them. I never expected you to be so heartless. You are my daughter. I am your father. By what right do you refuse? Do you know how much suffering they've endured all these years? How much suffering Ivy and Violet have endured, I don't know. But that scumbag father has certainly suffered greatly, a dignified duke, yet he has no shame. Lying at his own door crying and wailing, drawing a crowd of onlookers who gossiped endlessly. Isn't that Duke Zhongyang Marcus? Why was he thrown out of the manor? Serves him right. His legitimate wife just died, still in mourning, yet he rushed to bring his mistress's illegitimate daughter into the house. The eldest young lady in the manor was furious and threw both the duke and that illegitimate daughter out. Her temperament is quite fierce too. I'm afraid no family will dare marry her in the future. You don't need to worry about that. The Shen eldest miss is about to become engaged to His Highness the Crown Prince. She's the future Crown Princess. This friend eating melons had very accurate information. Violet, that green tea, sat down with a plop next to the scumbag father, her eyes now filled with jealousy and resentment. Seeing me looking at her, she immediately resumed her White Lotus act. Weak, innocent, pitiful, and aggrieved, lowering her head. I whispered in elder sister's ear, "Elder sister, if father says such things and word reaches the palace, the Empress and His Highness the Crown Prince might misunderstand." Crown Prince Lucian Liu is the male lead of this story. In the previous life's plot, he loved elder sister Arya deeply, but when she was framed and lost her virtue to Prince Trevor, he could only watch helplessly as the woman he loved had to marry his younger brother, while he was forced into a marriage swap to wed Violet as his wife. But throughout the entire year of their marriage, he never touched Violet, not even with a finger. On the contrary, Violet secretly carried on an affair with Trevor. In the end, she even conspired with Trevor to use Arya and the child in her womb as leverage to threaten and ultimately kill Lucian. When I read the story, I really loved this star-crossed couple. Though I know that in this life they'll end up together, I remember that the Crown Prince's mother, the Empress, doesn't seem to like elder sister very much. So as a hardcore shipper, I feel I need to remind her. Hearing this, elder sister looked at me and smiled softly. Little sister, after falling into the water and being ill, you seem to have become much smarter. My gossip, hungry expression immediately stiffened. I forced a smile. Yuna is just concerned about elder sister. If elder sister doesn't like it, Yuna won't say much in the future. Unexpectedly, elder sister just smiled and patted my head. Being smarter is a good thing. Oh, elder sister is so warm. I want to hug her. But she won't discover that I've changed souls, right? The scumbag father and that little green tea like to make scenes, but elder sister won't indulge them. Right in front of them, she slammed the manor gates shut. Seeing that crying and banging on the door was useless, the old father could only shamefully stand up, wipe his tears, and lead Violet back to the small house in Waishui Alley that he'd bought for Ivy. Ivy actually came from an official family originally, but unfortunately her father was exiled for corruption. Because of this, she fled and became a courtesan. But she was lucky. Before singing for many days, she connected with the scumbag father who redeemed her and kept her in a two-room house in Waishui Alley. The scumbag father was a secondary son from the Marquis of Woon's manor. Though declined, he still came from a powerful family. The family would never agree to let a woman of courtesan origin marry into the family. At first, the scumbag father was determined to marry her as his legitimate wife, but his grandfather found out, beat him severely, and threw him out. At that time, the old scoundrel lived carefree with Ivy for a while, but very soon all their money was spent. Then Princess Duanyang appeared. She took a liking to his literary talents and offered to make him her prince consort, giving him a life of wealth, honor, and official rank, fattening him up with every comfort. But that scumbag father, outwardly respectful and obedient to her, secretly still carrying on with Ivy, the two of them bleeding her dry together. What do you mean, forced to marry? Nonsense, he clearly volunteered. Now that he's eaten his fill, he despises the cold rice. What a wretch. The original owner of this body, in the previous life, was pushed into the water and drowned precisely because she saw Violet having an affair with Prince Trevor. As for concubine Evelyn, just because she discovered the truth and wanted justice for her daughter, she was falsely accused by Ivy of adultery with the steward and beaten to death by the scumbag father. Though I didn't personally experience these events, having become Yuna, I've long sensed the original owner's pain. In this life, I want to see exactly how that white lotus Violet will be abused. After Princess Duanyang passed away, concubine Evelyn was heartbroken and fell ill. Therefore, she didn't witness the scene of the scumbag father bringing his bastard to cause trouble today. But when she learned that elder sister had thrown that shameless father-daughter pair out, she immediately praised. Well done. The princess had just passed away. It hasn't even been 7 days. Yet he dared to bring that wild child to the princess's memorial hall to cause trouble. I never imagined he'd dare hide such things from the princess, deceiving everyone in the manor from top to bottom. Honestly, that scumbag father, aside from his face and a bit of literary talent, is worthless in every other way. Princess Duanyang was a strong woman. If she hadn't died, that old scoundrel would never have dared let her know about those two's existence. It's just a pity she left too soon. In the previous life, elder sister was too well protected by her, which allowed Ivy and her daughter to scheme so viciously against her. At this moment, concubine Evelyn held my hand and instructed, Yuna, the princess treated me with kindness as deep as a mountain. She departed so suddenly. Arya's heart must be in great pain. You are her only younger sister. At this time, you must stand by her side and be of one heart with her. Do you understand? I could feel the sincere affection concubine Evelyn held for Princess Duanyang, so I nodded in agreement. Though concubine Evelyn was the princess's dowry maid, later elevated to concubine, the two always maintained a close master-servant relationship. Princess Duanyang never used concubine Evelyn's origins to oppress her. She even returned her indenture contract and removed her servant status, so her position was that of a proper concubine who could be elevated to legitimate wife. completely different from ordinary concubines and servant concubines. Because concubine Evelyn and Princess Duanyang were of one heart, the scumbag father didn't like her either. After having me, he rarely visited her quarters. Fortunately, concubine Evelyn had no feelings for him either. She simply focused on staying in the inner courtyard, educating me. Taking my advice, elder sister indeed didn't delay. The very next day, she took her petition to the palace gates to appeal for justice. Princess Duanyang came from Prince Hengshen's royal manor and was the current emperor's cousin. Though Prince Hengshen had passed away, the emperor still cherished her like a blood sister. Moreover, the princess was doted on by her entire family from childhood. Her several older brothers all held high positions at court. So when they learned that such a shameful incident occurred during their younger sister's funeral, they were united in speaking out to denounce the scumbag father. As a result, that scumbag father was not only reprimanded but also stripped of his position. Originally he still had a nominal official post as a court gentleman, but now even this meager salary was gone. Moreover, now that other sister has been reborn, naturally she'll never soften and give that scumbag father money to spend. Thus, the old scoundrel and his Moonlight's mother-daughter pair lived outside for a month with no one managing them, and finally couldn't take it anymore. Previously, when he spent extravagantly outside, he'd just run up tabs and then send someone with the bills to the manor for the steward to settle. But elder sister had cut off his spending. Those shops didn't receive payment and wouldn't let him run up tabs anymore. Supposedly Ivy had been with him for over 10 years. With fields, houses and jewelry, she must have scraped together quite a bit. But how could Ivy possibly spend money? After just over a month, she began crying poverty, saying there was no money left at home. She even accused elder sister of targeting her. Finally, she dared to bring Violet and the scumbag father to Duke Zhongyang's manor gates and bang on the door. The eldest miss may hate me, but Violet is the master's legitimate daughter. How can you not tolerate even your own blood sister? I truly am a lowly courtesan by birth, but I also came from an official family before, forced to flee into that life. It wasn't my choice. Clearly he and I were together first. It was the princess who came between us. As expected from a courtesan background, she had some acting skills. Though middle-aged, she still cried like pear blossoms in rain, breaking that scumbag father's heart. Niang, don't say such things. It's all because of that unfilial daughter. Even her own father, she dares to defy. Arya, I ask you, did you or did you not instruct the steward not to settle our accounts? This is Duke Zhongyang's manor. I am your father. I am the master of this manor. Hearing this, elder sister just smiled coldly and said, Father, you've wronged your daughter. It's not that I'm stingy and won't let the steward settle accounts for you. It's that your ledger is fundamentally empty. Remember when mother married you, you had nothing. If not for His Majesty bestowing the Duke title and building this manor, you would have had to live as a son-in-law in Prince Hengshen's manor. All the expenses inside and outside the manor all these years have relied entirely on mother's dowry. Your meager salary and allowances have all been poured into that mistress and your precious daughter. Even that wasn't enough. Every year mother had to subsidize you tens of thousands of taels. All of this is clearly recorded in the ledgers. I am mother's only daughter. According to imperial law, a woman's dowry after her death is inherited by her children. You are the father. Would you really have your daughter use her dowry and personal money to support you, your mistress, an illegitimate daughter? Elder sister said these words right at the manor gates, on the street where every passerby could hear. Immediately people began pointing at the old scoundrel. Duke Zhongyang truly has thick skin, living off others yet so arrogant. First time seeing this. The mistress and her daughter are the truly shameless ones. What a pity that Princess Duanyang was deceived even unto death. Don't say any more. This mother-daughter pair looks quite pretty. If they hung up a sign at the Immortal Pavilion, I'd definitely patronize them. The crowd's gossip reached the ears of all three. The old father and Ivy were so angry their faces turned green. But having lived longer with thicker skin, despite being pointed at, they still stood firm, glaring at us furiously. But Violet had never endured such humiliation. Tears streaming, she looked at elder sister with resentment, then rammed her head into the manor gates. Whether driven mad by rage or truly unable to bear this shame and seeking death, with that force and speed, even immortals would find it hard to save her. I quickly burrowed into elder sister's arms, my whole body trembling, not from fear, but excitement. The White Lotus is just going to die like that. How wonderful. But what I didn't expect was that, at that critical moment, a figure suddenly appeared, flying over to block Violet, catching her as they fell to the side. He tenderly asked, "Miss, are you all right?" Violet cried until tears streamed down her face. Dazedly opening her eyes and seeing the man before her, she was startled. It's you again. Why did you save me? Just let me die. Let me die." I looked clearly at the man's features and immediately gasped, unable to stop myself from cursing. Damn scoundrel. Isn't this elder sister's bastard ex-husband from the previous life, Prince Trevor? So they already knew each other before Violet entered the manor. I knew about Trevor. After all, in the materials I received, the original owner was precisely because she saw him having an affair with Violet that she was personally thrown into the water by Trevor to drown. Elder sister was even less unfamiliar with him. In the previous life, this very man personally cut open her belly and extracted the unborn child to use as a medicinal catalyst for Violet. Elder sister was tortured by them until her resentment filled the heavens before she was reborn. Now seeing that scumbag Trevor holding her younger sister, her hands also gripped tighter, hatred surging in her eyes. "Greetings, Prince Trevor." Trevor held Violet with a concerned and pained expression, but his gaze toward elder sister was colder than ice. It seems this prince forgot to pay respects. The eldest miss of Duke Zhongyang's manor is truly imposing. In broad daylight, daring to treat human life with contempt. Is there no royal law in your eyes? This scoundrel. What is he barking about? Elder sister certainly didn't expect to encounter Trevor here. Her breathing became slightly unsteady. I hugged elder sister's arm, leaning against her, and asked with an innocent expression, "Elder sister, why is Prince Trevor holding Violet? Men and women should maintain proper distance. They truly have no shame." My words successfully broadened the scope, making all the melon-eating onlookers look at the two with curious eyes. Violet seemed only now to notice that her entire body was being held in Trevor's embrace. Trevor's large hand pressed against her slender waist, the two pressed close without a gap. Violet cried out in alarm, then blushed and pushed Trevor away. Elder sister quickly understood the meaning in my words. Her eyes turned cold as she looked at Trevor and Violet. Prince Trevor and Violet. What is their relationship? Embracing her in broad daylight. What propriety is this? Trevor didn't expect elder sister to question him so directly. His expression immediately darkened. This young lady and I have only met once. Just now, seeing her seeking death in the urgency of the moment, don't you dare speak nonsense. I glanced at him and pouted, muttering quietly, "Prince Trevor is so unreasonable. How can you speak but elder sister cannot? Elder sister, don't you agree?" Elder sister gently patted the back of my hand and handed me over to her head maid Hazel. Without arrogance or servility, she performed the proper courtesy to Trevor, then directly questioned, "Your Highness, where exactly did you see me treating human life with contempt?" This woman went mad on her own and tried to ram into Duke Zhongyang Manor's gates. I haven't even complained about her defiling my family's entrance. What does she have to feel aggrieved about? At this moment, Prince Trevor's guard had been investigating the surroundings. Hearing this, he leaned close to whisper, "Your Highness, this young lady is the daughter of Duke Zhongyang and his mistress. The first week of Princess Duanyang's mourning hasn't even passed, yet Duke Shen hastily tried to bring her into the manor. The eldest miss naturally refused. Moreover, His Majesty intends to betroth the eldest Miss Shen to His Highness the Crown Prince. We'd best not offend her." The guard's first sentence truly made Trevor calm down. Such a matter, placed in any noble family, would be intolerable. But the latter sentence instead enraged him. He immediately scoffed coldly. "The Crown Prince's fiancée, so what? When princes break the law, they're punished the same as commoners. You're a woman, yet arrogant, vicious, unfilial, and disrespectful. Driving your birth father out of the manor, leaving your own flesh and blood to wander outside. With such virtue, if you became crown princess, how could you serve as a model for the realm?" These words clearly showed no distinction between right and wrong, but were aimed directly at elder sister. Elder sister immediately replied in a grave voice, "Which law of the Great Way stipulates that one must allow mistresses and their illegitimate daughters into the manor? Moreover, my mother's first week of mourning hasn't even passed. Even if father wanted to take a concubine, He should wait some time, shouldn't he? Setting aside these two matters entirely, father wanting to take a former courtesan of lowly status as a concubine, I as his legitimate daughter dare not permit it even more. If word spreads, see which noble young lady would still be willing to marry father as his secondary wife. Elder sister's words left the scumbag father and Ivy stunned. Who said I want to take her as a concubine? Elder sister laughed contemptuously. So you want to make her your legitimate wife? If that's the case, I'd rather die than agree. Duke Zhongyang's manor is still a noble family after all. If father marries a former courtesan of lowly status as legitimate wife, once word spreads, what face would my younger sister and I have left to live in this world? At this moment, I also quickly wiped my tears and cried out, how shameful! If people knew, what would they say about our Duke Zhongyang's manor? Elder sister, I don't want to live anymore. We'll die right here to preserve our honor. Prince Trevor, you're helping this mother-daughter pair force our sisters to death. Let's see how you explain this to His Majesty. As the saying goes, the vicious fear the ruthless, and the ruthless fear the reckless. Violet alone rammed her head. We were two people ramming our heads. Moreover, elder sister is the legitimate daughter of Duke Zhongyang's manor, the niece of the current emperor. Trevor is just a secondary prince. For such a major incident, as long as he has a brain, he wouldn't dare cause it. But what I didn't expect was that Trevor truly had no brain. Hearing our words, he dared to speak provocatively, threatening this prince with life and death. Go ahead and try ramming your heads. This prince doesn't believe you truly dare. His words weren't even finished when a troop of horses hurriedly galloped toward us, surrounding Duke Zhongyang's manor. Crown Prince Lucian, wearing silver armor with a blood-red cloak draped behind him, leaped down from his fine steed and ran straight to elder sister, grasping her hands tightly. Are you all right? Oh, the male lead has finally appeared. This ship is my obsession. Hurry up and get together already. Hazel is elder sister's most loyal headmaid. In the previous life, to protect elder sister, she was shot full of arrows by Trevor. At this moment, she immediately ran out to accuse Trevor of his crimes. Your Highness Crown Prince, you've come at just the right time. Prince Trevor is truly vicious. Our princess has just passed away, yet he immediately helps this mistress and illegitimate daughter, wanting to force our young miss and second miss to death. I also cried while accusing, Your Highness Crown Prince. Prince Trevor even said my elder sister is arrogant and vicious, claiming she's unworthy to be your crown princess. But my elder sister is renowned for being gentle and virtuous. She's clearly been forced to this state by them. Lucian was indeed very angry. He glared at Trevor, his voice cold as ice. Since when does 6th Imperial brother get to decide who my crown princess will be? Lucian is the legitimate eldest son of the Empress, the future ruler. Moreover, he's not only the crown prince but also has military achievements and military power. Meanwhile, Trevor is just a secondary prince. The moment he spoke, the distinction between sovereign and subject was already clear. In the previous life, if not for Trevor and Violet using elder sister's life to threaten him, the male lead would never have lost. Sure enough, as soon as Lucian finished speaking, Trevor immediately didn't dare act arrogant anymore. Your Highness Crown Prince, calm your anger. This subject brother wouldn't dare. I seized the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, sniffling and crying while accusing. Prince Trevor says he wouldn't dare. But this humble maiden saw that Prince Trevor dares quite a lot. For the daughter of a lowly courtesan, he wanted to force our sisters to death. Your Highness Crown Prince, you must seek justice for me and elder sister. Lucian and elder sister are childhood sweethearts. Elder sister also cherishes me, so Lucian has always treated me like a younger sister. Seeing me cry so pitifully, he immediately erupted in fury. 6th brother, you rely on your status as a prince, yet dare to threaten imperial relatives and state ministers. Princess Duanyang was father emperor's cousin. By blood relationship, both Arya and Yuna must call you elder cousin. Trevor was scolded until thoroughly humiliated, feeling somewhat indignant. But Miss Shen is also the daughter of Duke Zhongyang. She's also my cousin. Lucian was nearly driven to death by his stupidity. The daughter of a nameless, statusless mistress is worthy of comparison with Arya. I see you've been bewitched by this woman. You can't even distinguish legitimate succession and proper hierarchy anymore. Seeing Trevor still wanted to speak, Lucian directly shouted, What are you standing there for? Hurry back to your manor, close the doors, and reflect on yourself. I will report today's matter to Father Emperor. Trevor angrily glared at me, then looked at Violet before reluctantly leaving. Seeing Trevor had left with no one to back her up anymore, Violet fainted from over-excitement. Ivy and the scumbag father held her, crying and wailing as if she had already died. I quickly pulled everyone into the manor and said to Elder Sister, "Elder Sister, quickly go inside and close the gates. She fainted on her own. No one touched her. Be careful or she'll turn around and blame us." The old father never valued me, and was so angry he roared my full name. Yunishan. Without a second word, I slammed the gates shut. Lucian's Imperial guards stood watch outside. The scumbag father and those two could cry themselves to death and still wouldn't be able to enter. The crowd of onlookers grew larger. Finally, those two also felt too ashamed and could only carry Violet away in defeat. Inside the manor, Lucian offered incense to Princess Duanyang. He stood talking with Elder Sister under the corridor. Sage and I held hands, standing behind them, eating melons. Hazel said excitedly, "His Highness the Crown Prince is truly wise and mighty. Such a perfect match for young Miss." I nodded in agreement. That's right, that's right." Hazel continued, "Young Miss suffered so much. Fortunately, His Highness the Crown Prince was here. Otherwise, that mistress and bastard child might have gotten in." I continued nodding like a bobblehead. That's right, that's right." Hazel heard my response and turned to look at me strangely, with a hint of disdain. "Second Miss, can you say 2 sentences on your own?" I blinked and asked, "When will those two consummate their marriage? They could just go straight to the bridal chamber. I really want to see their child." Hazel panicked and quickly covered my mouth. "Second Miss, you should still speak less. The princess is still in mourning." Hazel's words truly reminded me. In the previous life, Elder Sister had to observe mourning for Princess Duanyang for 3 years, which gave that mother-daughter pair their opportunity. This time, I must quickly push forward the marriage between these two to avoid long nights and many dreams. Thinking this, I hurried toward Elder Sister and Lucian. Elder Sister looked at me somewhat surprised. "Yuna, why are you running so fast? Did something happen?" I knelt down before Lucian. "Your Highness Crown Prince, I beg you to marry Elder Sister soon." Elder Sister was startled. "Little sister, what are you saying? Mother is still in mourning." I didn't let her finish and quickly explained. "Yuna knows that by rights, when mother passes away, Elder Sister should observe mourning for 3 years. But isn't there also a rule that within the 100 days of mourning, one can freely marry? Your Highness Crown Prince is already 20 years old. Would Elder Sister have the heart to make you wait 3 years? Yuna is still young. Observing mourning for mother for 3 years would only make me 17. Therefore, Elder Sister should get married, and let Yuna observe the mourning in her place." My words made Elder Sister blush, and also reddened Lucian's eye sockets. Lucian looked at me very moved and said, "Arya, I think little sister speaks reasonably. I'll immediately return to the palace to discuss our marriage with Father Emperor. Just wait for me." Elder Sister still hesitated somewhat. But, I quickly leaned close to her ear and whispered, "Elder Sister, have you forgotten? All the assets in this manor are mother's dowry. If Elder Sister marries, she must take all the dowry with her. By then, even if father stubbornly brings that mother-daughter pair into the manor, they won't gain anything. Elder Sister must marry quickly." Elder Sister looked at me with astonished eyes. In the end, I said nothing more. Lucian stayed for a while before taking his leave. When leaving, he even left 10 guards for Elder Sister. Those guards stood like door gods outside Duke Zhongyong's manor. Not even a fly dared to enter the manor. I was just thinking of going back to tell concubine Evelyn this good news when Elder Sister called me into her room. Feeling somewhat uneasy, I entered the room and immediately saw Elder Sister sitting there expressionlessly, her eyes staring fixedly at me. Not understanding why, my heart felt alarmed, and I immediately knelt down. Elder Sister called Yuna here. What's the matter? Did Yuna do something wrong? Elder Sister stared at me for a long while, then suddenly burst into tears, embracing me and saying painfully, "Yuna, little sister has also returned, hasn't she?" Hearing this, I stared at her in shock. She lowered her voice and said by my ear, "Have you also died and come back to life?" My eyes widened in amazement as I looked at Elder Sister. "Elder Sister." Before I could finish, Elder Sister held me tighter, her voice gentle. "Little sister doesn't need to say anything. Elder Sister knows everything, because Elder Sister is just like little sister. Do you know when elder sister saw you being pulled from the water, how painful my heart was? Not even concubine Evelyn remained. You were so kind, yet elder sister was useless. Couldn't protect you too. I was still wondering what excuse to use, never expecting elder sister had already paved the way for me. At this moment, I immediately said, elder sister, Yuna saw it all. Yuna witnessed with her own eyes how everyone died miserably at the hands of Prince Trevor and the mother, daughter Violet. Yuna hates them so much, which is why Yuna came back. Hearing these words, elder sister gripped my hands tightly, the depths of her eyes filled with pain. All these years, elder sister always felt that little sister's death back then was very strange. Tell elder sister exactly how you died. I gritted my teeth and said with hatred. It was because I saw Violet having an affair with Prince Trevor in the manor. After they discovered me, Prince Trevor personally drowned me in the lotus pond behind the garden. Elder sister, in this life, you absolutely must not marry Prince Trevor. What happened between you and Prince Trevor back then was fundamentally plotted by that mother-daughter pair. Their main purpose was to snatch away your position as crown princess. His Highness the Crown Prince also died because he tried to save you and was threatened by them. Yuna wants to protect elder sister and mother. I don't want the events of the previous life to happen again. As a hardcore shipper of the male and female leads, to help them achieve their happy ending soon, I frantically revealed the plot. Sure enough, my words made elder sister even more determined to marry early, taking mother's dowry with her, not leaving even a single coin for the old scoundrel and Ivy's mother-daughter pair to take advantage of. The marriage between elder sister and Lucian proceeded smoothly just like that. As the only bloodline of Princess Duanyang in this lifetime, elder sister has 3 maternal uncles and 8 male cousins. Moreover, each one holds great power at court, so she and the crown prince are truly well matched in status. As for Trevor, because of the previous incident, he was scolded by the emperor and stripped of his title, sent to guard the imperial mausoleum. The scumbag father and Ivy didn't know what they were scheming, but suddenly became thick-skinned enough to return, only saying that his daughter was getting married and as her father, he couldn't not care. He absolutely didn't mention bringing Ivy and Violet into the manor. Elder sister was about to have her grand wedding. If the scumbag father didn't seek death himself, elder sister naturally had no reason to make a move against him. Moreover, the wedding was rushed and already had a pile of matters to handle. Fortunately, Lucian was thoughtful and had already sent people from the palace to help. Within 1 or 2 months, everything was more or less prepared. As for me, because I contributed to facilitating elder sister and Lucian's marriage, everyone in the manor from top to bottom treated me very well. Aside from having to observe mourning for Princess Duanyang, eating simple food and dressing plainly, my life was actually quite good. That day, after finishing sutra chanting for Princess Duanyang in the Buddha Hall, I brought some snacks wanting to visit concubine Evelyn. From afar, I saw the old father sneaking into concubine Evelyn's room. Very quickly, concubine Evelyn's indignant voice came from the room. These were all bestowed upon this concubine by the princess while she lived, saved for Yuna's future dowry. Master, now you even want to take this concubine's personal money and daughter's dowry. Do you think I can bear it? I only heard the old father coaxing. Evelyn. Evelyn. I too had no choice. But to think of this desperate measure. People all have hearts of flesh. She's also a mother with a daughter. Can she bear to watch Ivy and her daughter suffer cold and hunger? Please, just give me some face. I just listened and immediately understood. I said to myself, why has the scumbag father been so well behaved lately? Somewhat unlike him. Turns out he wants to take advantage of elder sister being busy with wedding matters to secretly steal. Sage, the maid beside me, was personally trained by Princess Duanyang and is biological sisters with Hazel. She works very capably. Seeing me signal her, she immediately understood and turned to run off to call for help. I secretly listened. The more I heard, the more I felt the scumbag father truly was scum to the extreme. Fortunately, though concubine Evelyn is his concubine, her heart fundamentally doesn't support him. At this moment, concubine Evelyn laughed coldly and said, if the Marquis family wants to support a mistress, they should use their own money. Calculating to take this concubine's and daughter's dowry. What does that mean? Yuna isn't like the eldest miss, who has her maternal family backing her, nor does she have a good marriage match like His Highness the Crown Prince. Master is even less a reliable father. Only I, as her mother, must plan for her early. Hearing these words from concubine Evelyn, the old father could no longer pretend. His expression also became twisted. You're a lowly servant. Will you give it or not? Back when the princess was alive, I had to watch her every expression. Now that she's gone, must I still listen to your teachings? If you know what's good for you, hand over the money quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for casually dragging Yuna out and marrying her off to some beggar or butcher. Then we'll see how you cry. Concubine Evelyn was shaken with rage by his words, her hands clutching the money box tightly. No matter what you say today, I will not give you money. Seeing concubine Evelyn wouldn't hand it over, the scumbag father even wanted to rob her by force. At this moment I couldn't hold back anymore. I immediately jumped out and shouted loudly, "Father! What are you doing? Are you robbing mother's money to give to that mother-daughter pair? I and mother are also your concubine and daughter. How can you be so heartless?" The old father originally planned to quietly come rob the money and then leave. Earlier, he had discussed with Ivy, working together from inside and out. The old father would find money inside the manor while she provided support outside. Once they got the money, they'd enjoy themselves for a while. But unexpectedly, elder sister's side managed the accounts far too strictly. He couldn't do anything, so he thought of concubine Evelyn. Having his crimes exposed so brazenly by me, the scumbag father's face immediately turned blue-green. He pointed at me and cursed loudly, "You rebellious daughter! What nonsense are you spouting? Don't think I don't know. Many things were all instigated by you." After saying this, he even took off his belt and chased after me to beat me. I don't dare claim expertise in other things, but I'm very good at running away. When I was little and didn't do well on exams, my mother would chase me with a cane to beat me. Far more fierce than this scoundrel father. With his body already drained hollow by debauchery, he still wants to catch up with me. Sure enough, he hadn't chased for many steps before he was panting like an ox, his face turning pale. Afraid he'd chase unsuccessfully and give up, I deliberately slowed down to give him more motivation to continue. While waiting for him, I didn't forget to build my own image. "Father, you're truly heartless. Your daughter just didn't want to see father bewitched by that mother-daughter pair. Is even that wrong? Then father, just beat your daughter to death." Hearing this, the old father was so angry his head buzzed. He shouted loudly, "Then you stop right there and let this old man beat you to death." Hilarious. Just words, yet he actually takes them seriously. I was just about to open my mouth and provoke him a bit more when I saw elder sister leading a group of household servants and guards coming this way. Immediately, I pretended to fall to the ground, crying out weakly, trying my hardest to look as pitiful as possible. The scumbag father thought he had his chance and raised the belt high in his hand, about to strike me. Right at this moment, elder sister came flying over and pushed him away. "Father, what are you trying to do?" I immediately looked up with tear-filled eyes, my small pitiful face looking toward elder sister. "Elder sister, Yuna hurt so much. Father wanted to rob mother's personal money. When I saw this, he said he wanted to beat me to death." Elder sister's expression immediately darkened. She painfully helped me up. "Father, have you gone mad? How can you treat Yuna like this?" The scumbag father immediately felt extremely aggrieved. She fell on her own. I fundamentally didn't touch even a finger of hers. I didn't wait for him to finish before bursting into tears. "Elder sister, it hurts so much. Will Yuna become crippled?" The old father was scared by us and, seeing elder sister's cold gaze, he angrily pointed at us and cursed, "Fine, fine, fine. You two sisters are so close you don't regard me as your father at all. I'm leaving. I can't stay in this manor for even one more day." Then he put the belt through his sleeve and left. Watching him go far away, elder sister and I looked at each other. Elder sister whispered, "Did he really leave?" I shook my head, my voice certain. "I bet he'll come back right away." Sure enough, the scumbag father came back. He hadn't been gone for even a few hours before people carried him back. It was said he angrily went to a wine shop to drown his sorrows. After drinking, having no money to pay, he was chased by the shopkeeper and waiters demanding payment. Running into the street, he was hit by a carriage. This time the old father was hit quite seriously. Directly paralyzed from the waist down. Basically crippled now, lying in bed with a crooked mouth and slanted eyes, unable to move or speak, completely dependent on others' care. A servant reported back that after being hit, the old father was first taken to Ivy and Violet's place. But when they learned he couldn't be cured, those two didn't say a word before having a carriage send him back here. Elder sister looked at me and whispered, "Yuna, you didn't arrange for someone, did you?" I immediately denied. "Of course not. Was it elder sister?" Elder sister also shook her head. "No." We both breathed a sigh of relief. It seems the scumbag father reaped what he sowed. Evil deeds bring heaven's punishment. Concubine Evelyn learned of this and, looking at the old father lying in bed, sighed and muttered quietly, "Why didn't they just hit him to death? Living half dead like this is worse than going down below to atone to the princess." Who could say otherwise? It's truly unfortunate. But anyway, he's still the crown prince's future father-in-law, and also Duke Zhongyang. Having been hit, this can't just be overlooked. After multiple investigations by the Court of Judicial Review, they'd finally found the culprit. And it turned out to be Prince Trevor. He was supposed to be guarding the Imperial Mausoleum, but had secretly returned to the capital because of his affair with Violet. After hitting someone, not wanting to expose his identity, he fled. Because the scumbag father wasn't rescued in time, he became crippled. Trevor must bear this responsibility. He didn't want to. But Lucian and the Emperor had to make him. Therefore, he no longer needed to guard the mausoleum. But because he was an imperial relative, and the nature of the incident was a hit and run, which was completely accidental. It was the scumbag father who drunkenly ran into the carriage himself. Trevor was punished with house arrest, confined to his manor and not allowed to leave. Learning that Trevor was under house arrest, Violet cried until her heart was broken. Every day she stood outside Prince Trevor's manor holding a handkerchief, wanting to speak but stopping, tears streaming down. As for Ivy, she stood outside Duke Zhongyang's manor gate screaming, saying she was the old father's mistress, and now that he'd had an accident, elder sister couldn't just ignore it. Unexpectedly, this time elder sister changed her attitude and enthusiastically pulled Ivy into the manor. She even told her that she was about to marry out, and would be taking me, concubine Evelyn, and Princess Duanyang's entire dowry with her. After that, there would be no one left in Duke Zhongyang's manor. Her coming to care for the scumbag father would be best. Ivy looked at the old father lying in bed drooling, then looked at the grand building that had been cleaned out with almost nothing left, and became furious, cursing. "Who cares to look after this cripple? Area. You can even harm your own birth father. You won't die peacefully." After saying this, she stamped her feet, abandoned the scumbag father, and immediately fled. At this moment, seeing his beloved abandon him and even curse him as a cripple, the old father could only drool lying in bed, continuously making sounds. Concubine Evelyn hurriedly used a handkerchief to wipe his mouth. "Master, don't get agitated. Preserve your health. Later, this concubine and Yuna will follow the eldest miss to the crown prince's manor. Only you alone will remain in the house, so you must preserve your strength and live." Hearing these words, the scumbag father resentfully glanced at us, then rolled his eyes back and fainted. He naturally couldn't die. The rest of his life would have to be spent living half dead like this. A few days later, elder sister married out. On her wedding day, the entire capital hung lanterns and decorations celebrating her and His Highness the Crown Prince. Red silk stretched from Duke Zhongyang's manor all the way to the Eastern Palace. Because there were no parents to attend the wedding, elder sister's 3 maternal uncles and aunts all came. Her 8 male cousins personally escorted her. The scene was extremely grand. I led Hazel and Sage to witness it all firsthand. So happy, I drank until I was completely drunk. I even made a scene all the way to the bridal chamber, wanting to watch elder sister and Lucian kiss for me to see. Elder sister, blushing with embarrassment, told people to quickly carry me down and not let me cause more trouble. Unexpectedly, after sleeping and waking up, I discovered myself in an unfamiliar room, my hands and feet all bound. Before my eyes was a man who looked very perverted, staring fiercely at me. "Yuna, this prince won't touch elder sister. You're the one. But touching you is acceptable, isn't it? A lowly servant harmed this prince so miserably. This prince will make you wish you were dead." What? Oh my god. I never in 10,000 years expected that Trevor would actually have this capability. Kidnapping me from the crown prince's manor. Even more unexpected was that he'd have guts this big. Anyway, now I must face this pervert alone. My heart was terrified beyond measure. What do you want to do? Don't come near me. Trevor, while removing his belt, laughed sinisterly, walking toward me. What do you think this prince wants to do? Oh my God. This filthy creature actually wants to drag me down. I struggled with all my might to sit up and shouted loudly. Didn't you fall in love with Violet at first sight? Aren't you afraid she'll find out? Moreover, if His Highness the Crown Prince and my elder sister learn of this, they won't let you off. Trevor laughed loudly. This prince will cook the rice with you first. Even if your elder sister and the Crown Prince find out, what can they do? This prince will then report to Father Emperor that circumstances forced me. This prince will reluctantly show great mercy and take you as a concubine. Once you fall into this prince's hands, this prince can torture you however he wants. I suddenly understood. Ah, so that's what you're thinking. Then don't blame me. All this time I'd been stalling. I'd already hidden a vegetable knife on myself. Untying my bonds as he lunged toward me, my hand gripping the knife struck downward, giving him a slice down below, leaving nothing remaining. Trevor let out a pitiful scream, crying incessantly, "You vicious woman! This prince wants your life." I looked at him in horror, opening my beautiful, clear, innocent eyes wide and saying, "Prince Trevor, are you all right? Yuna didn't mean to. Yuna will go call a physician for you." Then I turned and ran. Trevor was furious and wanted to catch me, but having just become a eunuch, with blood flowing endlessly and pain so intense, very quickly he fainted. I ran all the way outside while shouting for help. This place turned out to be Prince Trevor's manor. The servants and guards in the manor all didn't know Trevor had kidnapped me. Hearing the commotion, they ran over. "Who are you? Why did you run out from the prince's chambers?" I immediately cried like pure blossoms in rain. "I'm the younger sister of the crown princess. Your prince kidnapped me from the crown prince and elder sister's wedding. He wanted to violate me." The servants and guards, hearing my words, were horrified to the extreme. They turned and ran to check on Trevor. Seeing he'd already fainted, they knew something major had happened. Just then, people from the crown prince's manor discovered I'd gone missing. Following the traces, they found their way here and immediately surrounded Prince Trevor's manor, capturing Trevor for kidnapping and attempted assault. Though ultimately unsuccessful and he was even injured, I was the victim. I acted in legitimate self-defense. Therefore, in the end, all the charges were borne by Trevor alone. Of course, I also wasn't without any display. After all, that slash of mine had caused him to lose his precious jewels. No matter what, I still had to observe mourning for Princess Duanyang for 3 years. Might as well punish myself by going to the Buddha hall to chant sutras and pray, considering it atonement for my sins. Seeing I was so sensible, even the emperor couldn't bear to punish me. On the contrary, after Trevor lost that thing, his voice became increasingly shrill. All day long in Prince Trevor's manor, he cursed at me, every phrase cutting and vicious. Ivy, during this recent period, hadn't managed to squeeze a single coin from Duke Zhongyang's manor, yet was accustomed to extravagant spending. Very quickly, there wasn't a single coin left to live on. Finally, for wealth and glory, she married Violet off to Trevor as a concubine. At first, Trevor was quite happy, but seeing Violet's evasive eyes he immediately flew into rage. In his fury, he sent Ivy and Violet to the Immortal Pavilion brothel to receive clients. He even perversely stood beside them watching them receive clients. I just learned this news and hurriedly struck the wooden fish while chanting. The sound of the wooden fish rang out. Oh, how truly terrifying. This tale reveals that betrayal and greed ultimately destroy those who practice them. Marcus Shen's infidelity, Ivy's manipulation, and Violet's scheming all backfired spectacularly. Meanwhile, Arya's rebirth granted her wisdom to protect her loved ones, while Yuna's transmigration allowed her to change tragic fates. True justice prevails when the virtuous stand united against deceit. The story teaches us that karma is inevitable. Those who sow evil will reap suffering, while loyalty and courage triumph in the end. The story ends here for now. If it touched your heart or left you thinking, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and share Raccoon Tale to help more stories come to life. See you in the next tale.